Anyway, this is, I'm just going to actually wind up on the paper on this particular matter. Senate to rule on Kawira's ouster in plenary, committee route rejected. So the Senate will decide the fate of besieged Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza in plenary after the Kenya Kwanza Alliance rejected the special committee route. Speaker Amason Kingi yesterday outlining the charges leveled against Mwangaza. And of course, this now sets the stage for her impeachment trial for the second time in 10 months. And you have legislators allied to President William Ruto shooting down a motion on the establishment of an 11-member special committee to consider that impeachment of the first-time governor. However, their counterparts in opposition outfit Azimio they supported to establish of that special committee. All right. So Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, while seconding the motion, said with the committee leading the probe, nominated senators will have a say in the impeachment process, while in a plenary hearing, only the heads of delegation will vote. So what happened is that Murang'a Senator John Yutu said this in his communication, however, to the House. Speaker Kingi said he received the resolution from the Meru County Assembly Speaker on Friday following the Wednesday impeachment that took place. And so that is what is going to happen. Kawira's ouster will be in plenary, and now the committee route has been rejected. Prof, how does this play out for Mwangaza? I mean, we've seen the committee, you know, when the committee sits, it's a bit different from when the plenary now sits to really hear the impeachment. How do you think this will go for the governor?
As an economist and a strategist, most wars are won before they begin. So they are setting stage to impeach her because they have discovered that the committee route, when committee comes with reports, normally the plenary has to go around the issues that committee has come with. And last time they tried that route, she survived. Now they want to try another route because they are changing the tools on how they want to exit her from that office. And the other thing which for me is very interesting here, and I think that's why I'm really, I know that impeachment thing is a good thing because it's really a tool to question whether the government needs to be in office or not, but nevertheless, impeachment is a political process, not a legal process. And they're accusing her of legalities, but actually they are taking her through a political process. Now, why am I saying so? I want to urge our listeners, Zainab, that we have always politicized everything. The Finance Act was between Ruto and Raila Odinga. The budget was the same. Now you see this one was Kenya Kwanza wants this and Azimio wants that. So is Mwangaza going to be impeached if or not be impeached because of the forces that are in Senate?
So you say this is some political...
It's a political process because they vote. So if 20 people vote to say Fred is brown, will I be brown? No, I won't. There's just populism. So according to me, if it is a vote that will determine whether she stays or not, it's just a political process. So let her not waste time on illegalities, I was right, I was wrong. Go to that thing and manage them. And according to me, what is unfortunate about this, in as much as I have some issues with the governor, I also have some issues with the process she's being taken through. And what the issues I have, the issues are very clear that when you impeach a governor and a deputy governor takes over, remember that campaign was run mostly by the governor and they're in the same ticket. Why don't they both go home, if at all that's the case, so that it becomes painful? And also on the other part of looking at how this is playing out, I think that there is some issues that Governor Mwangaza is going through. She is a victim of her independence. Governor Mwangaza ran on an independent party. I remember all these people who are fighting are party people. UDA is wondering, how come somebody won on an independent ticket?
So do you feel that her ouster is not based on, you know, there's no merit in some of these allegations that, you know, have
is
been
there any governor
against
who needs to be in office? You look at the report which I showed. There is no governor who is supposed to be in office, if at all we are looking at illegalities. And I'm not talking about rumors. I've gone to CIA, High Court, and said how James Orengo and the executive changed 98% of the budget proposed at the assembly and they implement totally different. That for me is more serious illegality than not. Who has taken him for impeachment? So it's a political process. And I also said these things whereby the MCAs which were there belong to political parties. You understand? The governor was independent. suppose the governor and those MCAs were in the same party, would we be discussing about Governor Mwangaza's impending impeachment? So the issue here is that we have to understand again these political parties. What is their role in this process? And then if a governor is an independent governor, I think there should be some legislation to protect them, because that's what she's going through. How many governors are independent? You go to Taita Taveta, is an independent governor. For her, she's an independent governor. Fortunately, Taita Taveta do not have very strong sitting political party, because PA is the one who mostly controls the assembly in Taita Taveta. So according to me, the most important person who should be considered here, how does impeachment or not of Mwangaza affect the people of Meru service delivery? Because some of them are going to wait for this tussle for 3 years. The governor now is being rated here to be, she has scored 63 under these circumstances. And I will tell you this, what is called, in as much as we are talking about state capturing the judiciary, in the county assembly in all counties are capturing the executive.
All right.
Because if Mwangaza want to survive, just take these MCAs to Mombasa or Seychelles for a holiday with a good money, and immediately this thing will not be an issue. She will be in office. But maybe she's trying to do the right thing in terms of using the public resources, because you see she's rated among the best here, isn't it? She's on front page of Nation today for doing very well. 63% is a very good score.
That's Taifa Leo, I believe,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I'm trying to say that she must have been trying to do something that does not really sound very well with these MCAs.
Okay.
And that's why they are trying to fish her out.
So you feel
but nevertheless, there are some mistakes. For example, you know how she's handling the issue with her husband. I'm sure maybe want to do that differently. But no one is perfect, Zainab. Fred Ogola sitting here is not perfect. But nevertheless, way forward, can the government go and help the governor out, or even those people from Mount Kenya, sit with these people, sort out. Like, for example, Rigathi Gachagua went to Koricho and sorted out the issue between the governor and the MCAs. Why is she being left to roast? And when you heard Rigathi Gachagua says, I will not interfere, when you hear anybody saying, I will not interfere, it normally means that they like how the process is going, so they won't interfere.
Okay.
And they would actually make her go through that process of impeachment, and they won't interfere. When you saw, for example, just to give an analogy here, when John Kerry came to Kenya in 2017 before the election, and John Kerry said, America will not interfere in the election of Kenya, because interference here normally means support the opposition, because there's no need of interfering to support
How is that even
government.
correlated?
Yes.
By somebody saying I will not interfere in
when
the
they say they won't interfere,
doesn't necessarily
when the
mean
American
that
says
they
we won't interfere, why?
Support for what is
But
happening?
why must you say you won't interfere? It means you've been interfering before. And when you say I won't interfere, means that at this time...
But it's only because the leaders were being called upon to sort of create some, good relationship between the MCAs and the governor.
No, but I'm trying to say here, you see, Rigathi Gachagua has a big role in the county governments. I'm sure you see the president making these announcements there. And the functioning of Meru County is very important for the Meru people and also for Kenya Kwanza, because actually those are the regions where the president got most of his votes. Why not address this issue and solve this matter? Because this tussle, wanasema undovu wakipigana, sivyo? Nyasi ndio humia. Nani ni nyasi? Ni mwananchi. Yule anataka, he wants school fees. They want someone to go to hospital. They want to put food on the table.
Okay.
This war between these big people is hurting the Meru people. And that's what I'm trying to say here.
Bashir, from where you sit and your analysis of the situation, the Meru governor will have to go through a plenary session where all the members of parliament will have to debate her impeachment and really make a vote at the end. The committee route, we've seen it in, that approach on different other governors who faced impeachment. It's a little bit different. From where you sit, how do you think this is going to play out?
You see, Zainab, when you look at the process in terms of what will happen at the Senate, as expected on how it will play out, with the Kawira's ouster being discussed at plenary, it is a provision under Section 33 of the County Governments Act, because that is the provision that foresees both routes, the route of a special committee and that of such a discussion at plenary. I know we have largely been used to specific governors being subjected to the 11-member special committee, which has its pros and cons. I think from where I sit, what I will say is when you subject a governor to an 11-member committee, there is a huge likely or possibility of a governor trying to influence the outcome of that particular report by the 11-member special committee. And when you look at it vis-a-vis the plenary way, it will not be easy to influence the outcome at the Senate at plenary, because the numbers are different and the situation is quite different. I will also say this, that in terms of what ordinarily used to happen with the 11-member committees, they used to prepare a report that used to be submitted to the Senate within 10 days. In this particular instance, she will face the Senate at plenary. Those particular 7 or so allegations will be read out to her. She'll be entitled to representation. She will have an opportunity to even clarify on all these particular charges. And I think that is a very fair issue in terms of her getting an opportunity to clear on some of these particular issues. But then again, let me ask you something. We have 46 other governors. Why is this particular governor finding her way again back to the Senate on an impeachment issue again for the second time? If this happens again under Section 33, within the next 3 months, a member of the County Assembly again is entitled to introduce such a motion for her removal within the next 3 months, once the Senate makes a decision in the event the Senate decides to clear her. Does it mean this will be the game plan, whereby each and every time she'll be impeached, again appear before the Senate, be cleared? I think at some point, the county of Meru should be operational. There's a way it should run.
Right.
I will say for the Kenyans who are not comfortable in terms of how a county governor is removed, I will say they have the right to front an amendment on Section 33 of the County Government Act. But from where I sit, I find it to be fair. These particular people have to have 2 levels of accountability at the very least. The first accountability is at the county assembly level, where we see that she's been a target of various reasons. Then she will have a day at the Senate, and now that is a bigger oversight place whereby she'll either be cleared or the impeachment motion will be adopted. And it's a wait-and-see game, but all I'm saying is let's give her the opportunity to clear these particular charges or allegations against her at plenary.
All right. Arnold, your final thoughts also on this particular matter. Governor Kawira Mwangaza, second impeachment. Quite a tough woman, I must say, an independent who's now facing, well, according to Prof, a lot of political interests, you know, in her impeachment that is playing out.
You know, Zainab, when I was still young, I aspired to become a man of God. I never aspired to become a prophet. And whereas I'm not a prophet, I know that she will actually, we will be back here. She will actually ace this particular process. She will go back to Meru. Difficult as it is to swallow for some of the people who are pushing for her impeachment, because I'll tell you one thing, from where I sit, this is me, completely myself. If Kawira Mwangaza is actually impeached on the grounds of what I've seen Speaker, Senator, and also Governor Amason Kingi actually listed, then she is just a dry run. Somebody else is actually in sight. This one is a tracer bullet to...
In what sense?
If you understand national politics, if Kawira actually falls, then somebody is doing rehearsal to impeach somebody else or some other people. She totally, if the Senate allows her to fall, then they are preparing to impeach probably and fry a bigger fish somewhere.
So
otherwise,
in your perception, Kawira Mwangaza would be some sort of experiment
it's actually a dry run. It's bigger? A reke. Somebody's running a reke to fry a bigger fish. Because sometimes normally people have to do a dry run to actually see if this works and then how it will work in any other situation. But be that as it is, first of all, there is the impeachment procedure bill 2018 that sought to standardize the impeachment process, the removal of governors, to ensure that it's just, it's fair, because a lot of times he's cited 33 of the County Governments Act. So what Article 181 of the Constitution just does, it's that it lists grounds upon which a governor can be removed. And just out of curiosity, if you look at Article 181, 1D, of course it talks about physical or mental incapacity to perform as one of those grounds. A lot of times when you see how some of these county assemblies that are actually trying to remove governors, if that is a ground upon which you can actually remove governor, then it should also be a ground upon which, because away from the physical part of it, they could be very physically fit. But then you see the mental incapacity in a way in how they actually conduct their businesses. So of all the governors we have, the 6 positions that we have so far, and that the ones that we cast ballots for, you realize that it's only the governor who is the easiest one to remove, at least to prosecute their removal. When is the last time you saw an MP? A lot of people don't like how their MPs are conducting business. But have you seen people trying to remove an MP? It's difficult. It's not been easy. Of course, there have been says and threats in the past, but it never goes anywhere.
Right.
You've seen anyone trying to remove the president, including people who do not appreciate and acknowledge the president, and they're in parliament, and in Senate. They are not able to do that. We've met, and that in itself is actually killing devolution. Right. We need to a little bit make the removal of governors a little bit weightier than you just don't like this particular person, and if you don't like them, you know, governance, just like politics, is not a love affair. I don't have to love somebody to work with them in government. I am there for a defined purpose. I am there to work. So for the MCAs in Meru who do not love Kawira Mwangaza, that's not a marriage. They don't have to like her. They don't have to love her to work with her. Because a lot of these things they are doing is actually out of hate, out of malice. And literally everybody has got, you will find these things. Let me ask this question that no one is actually asking. What is the function of a deputy governor? Is the principal assistant to?
The governor.
To the governor.
Right.
So all those things were happening and the deputy governor was doing nothing. He was doing nothing. Yeye ni mweupe kama pamba. Na hizo mashtaka zote zimeandikwa hapa hivi. As the governor was doing that, the deputy governor alikuwa amefungiwa kwa gunia, mkono yake imefungwa, kila kitu, he was doing nothing. That
don't have powers.
no,
You know, unless they are assigned.
That is a political argument.
Unless
so
they
we
are
flip it
assigned
this way.
by the governor.
So we flip it this way. He was doing nothing. That can actually
But
be.
you know, so Wakili is raising.
I know he's
interesting
raising a valid
perspective.
point, yes. But if you flipped it the other side,
what sense
then
does he
you would
have the
actually
powers
say
to
that is
change anything?
dereliction of duty. What was he doing along that? When the governor, for example, hires what they're talking about traffic marshals without the county public service board, where was the county assembly? They also didn't do anything about it. They should have stopped it.
All right.
So the county government here is at fault. And a number of, if you look at all the charges leveled against
The
Kawira,
7 charges, right.
a number of them are at chief officer level and CEC level if they went so far. Some of them actually come right to the door of the county assembly, the county public service board. But then we do not want to seek the removal of the people in the county public service board. No, we have to go for the governor. We do not want to ask questions as the county assembly that while this was happening, what were they doing? Nothing.
But where
of that.
does the back stop? Doesn't it stop with the governor?
The county assembly is actually an independent agency. Where were they when all these things were happening? Some of them actually in their own jurisdiction, they were doing nothing. They were hoping that she does that so that they go and impeach her. They should also be going home. So my point is this, that whatever way you look at it, is that, and by the way, the people of Meru are very lucky, that their governor is being fought and she's number 9. If you look at today's nation.
In the rankings
some
of
other
the governors?
including mine in Kakamega, he's very peaceful. No one is fighting him, but we are not even top 10.
All right, let's finish. In fact, you know, as we take a break, on the front page, it's actually giving you a brief of the best of the best, it says. Governor's performance ranking, page 12 of the DN. Who is leading? We have Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya at 70%, followed by Gladys Wanga, also holding the same 70%. That's from Homa Bay. West Pokot, Simon Kachapin, 67%, a very quiet governor. Simba Arati from Kisii, 64%. We've seen what is happening also in Kisii, some of the political things that are also transpiring there. Irungu Kangata of Muranga, 64%. Jeremiah Lomurkai from Turkana, 64%. Mutula Kilonzo also 64%. Weasley Rotich from Elgeyo Marakwet there, 63%. And Kawira Mwangaza emerging also among the best of the best governors despite the prevailing situation. And then you also have Julius Malombe of Kitui at 63%. So you can get that full report there on page 12 of the Daily Nation as we take a break. Yes, Bashir, allow me to take a break. We'll be back, please. And then we'll continue with this as we get into our conversation. And of course, you can engage with us. The hashtag, as always, is MLive and TV. Remember, this is our rolling coverage of the official visit by the monarch. That's the King of Britain, King Charles III and Queen Camilla, and of course who are on a 4-day state visit. This is the second day here in the country. We've seen the itinerary. We'll be giving you more details of what is expected of them, and of course what is we expect to see them doing today, and also some of the things that surround this particular visit. All right, we'll be back in a short while.